I'm Noah from phonedog.com, and I'm dipping into the mailbag for this one, and you'll understand why in a second. I don't know the names these kids come up with these days for themselves. My grandmother would not approve. But this one comes from filthyJ. filthyJ says, "Yo Noah, a while back you did an unboxing of the Nokia E71 but never really followed up on it. And since you're going over some unlocked phones, I figure if any deserve a little more in-depth review, it's going to be the E71. I've been using mine for about 4 months now and couldn't be happier. And I think it'd be awesome if you compared it with some of its competitors like the Bold, Trio Pro, and iPhone 3G dogfight style. That'd definitely be saved to my favorites, haha. And I figured since the E71 is slated for AT&T here pretty soon, you should get a solid review out on it, because I'm sure there are tons of people that love watching your videos and seriously take what you say into consideration when looking at phones. Well, if you say so. And I'm one of them. Oh, he does say so. All right. So keep up the good work, keep making sweet videos, and please, please, please do a review/dogfight with the E71. filthyJ, thank you. It's a good idea, and here you go. As you said, the E71 is slated, from everything we've heard, not confirmed yet, but is slated as of now. When am I making this video? In mid-January 2009. For AT&T, the E71X is what it's been being called. AT&T branded version of it. We've seen some photos slip out on the web of it. And you're right, I did an unboxing of it. I never followed up in videos. I followed up a bunch on the written blog, which you can always keep up on phonedog.com. Not only me, but Adriana, John, Courtney, our other phone doggers, keeping you up to date on everything going on in the world of phones. But you're right, never came back with a video review. Thanks to the folks at Nokia who were kind enough to send me the E71 again so I could spend a little more time with it to make this happen, because you asked for it, filthyJ. So here we go, a little more hands-on in-depth with the Nokia E71, the unlocked version, crazy slim, crazy sexy GSM smartphone. So there's no doubt that the Nokia E71 is a sexy, sexy phone. I mean, this thing, it's really nice. It's, you know, it's equally, I think, at home in a fancy suit as it is, you know, and a nice pair of jeans in the pocket of your jeans when you're going out. I mean, it's got that kind of universal style. It's thin, it's got the metal, it comes in a couple colors, but I really like this gray steel color with the, you know, kind of silver patterned metal with the dark trim and the dark gray buttons. It's just really nice. It's this kind of combination of class and style, and then it's very high tech, nice big screen, very thin profile, and you know, just Nokia did a really nice job. This is probably, I think, the sexiest phone Nokia's ever made, just in terms of the actual form factor. I still feel funny using words like sexy, talking about pieces of technology and gadgets, but whatever, that's what people say. It's sexy. It's a sexy phone. The E71's got a ton of features. You know, it's you can see I'm running on an AT&T right now, and it's 3G, so it's a quad-band GSM, unlocked. You can use it around the world. In the US, you can use it on AT&T or T-Mobile. 3G will only work on AT&T in the US because it doesn't use T-Mobile's AWS band. It also has Wi-Fi built in, Bluetooth, GPS, you know, just about anything you can think of on a modern smartphone, it's going to have it. It runs the Symbian Series 60 platform, so there's a ton of applications you can use, a lot of customization you can do. On the back, 3.2 megapixel camera with a flash and autofocus. It's got a 2.5mm headphone jack on the side here, which is a minor disappointment. A standard 3.5mm jack would have been a little bit nicer. It's got a full-featured media player, so you can use it, you know, you can use a little adapter with it, or you can go stereo Bluetooth. It's interesting, Nokia just announced the E63, which is a slightly lower-end version, similar to the E71, but a plastic body, and missing a couple of the features. I believe it misses 3G and GPS, if I'm not mistaken. It omits. That's the word, Noah. Thanks. But that one has a 3.5mm headphone jack, so kind of interesting that they chose to go that way. And as mentioned, there will be, looks like there's going to be an AT&T branded version of this phone coming to the US soon, the E71X, or at least that's what the leaked photos of it are labeled E71X. So you should see a branded version of it, but you can pick up this unlocked version now, or, you know, if you're on AT&T or want to switch to AT&T, you can wait and get it subsidized on contract. The thing about this phone is
It's a great business device. What I found with it is that it works really, really well. It's a great business device. The keyboard is great. It's slim. It's stylish. And it kind of, Nokia in some ways is kind of like the anti-Apple. They make phones that are and they advertise them this way. They're fully unlocked, and you can get to all the different features and customize it and use themes and set, everything up that you want to do and install all kinds of applications. You can see on here I've got, I've got Kite installed so I can watch and produce multiple videos on the go. I've got a Gmail app. I've got WorldMate for location-based travel information and stuff. I've got Google Maps, Internet Radio, etc. I installed Opera on the phone just to see how it would do. And not that you can't install things on the iPhone, but Nokia is just they're really opening it up for you to use. The flip side of that, it comes with just to keep going. It's got a bunch of Office apps in it, a PDF reader. It's pre-configured. It's got Quick Office, so you can read and write Office documents, just all kinds of utilities, and many, many more available around the web, and all kinds of Symbian developers, large and small, making stuff for these phones. And the Series 60 platform, there are different feature packs, but basically, all the Nokia N and E series devices run the Series 60 platform. So a lot of not every app works the same on every phone because of differences with the actual hardware and the screen resolutions and stuff, but a lot of applications you can use between the different Nokia phones. The thing, anyway, that I was getting to is that the thing about Nokia is that while they're super utilitarian and functional, you also kind of have to jump through a few more hoops to do things. So a prime example of that is on this phone, whenever I go to connect to the internet. So if I'm launching the web browser, or if I'm launching the email client, you have to set what connection you want to use. Now you do that on the iPhone, but just the screens that come up, the user dialog is just a little bit nicer on the iPhone. So on the iPhone, it'll, if you have Wi-Fi on, it'll automatically, and I'm not trying to compare the E71 to the iPhone, I'm just saying Apple's kind of, they smooth over, what you lose in the way of not being able to get under the hood, you gain in the way of things being sort of smoothed over on top for the user. The Nokia, sometimes there are a few more steps or a few more things that are made apparent to the user that, some people, some consumers just don't want to deal with because they think it's a little too geeky or a little too much technology to kind of deal with, and they'd rather have things kind of be set up once and be behind the scenes. Connecting to Wi-Fi is a good example of that. I'll show you in a second on the E71. Anyway, here's the built-in web browser, the S60 browser. A year or two ago, this was the best web browser on the market. Now it's kind of been surpassed a little bit, I think, by iPhone, the Android browser, maybe even the Skyfire browser for Windows Mobile, which is a pretty interesting product. But still, it's a good web experience, renders in HTML. This page is coming up the mobile site from ESPN, but you can definitely get to your mobile sites here. We'll go to your full desktop sites rather. We'll go to PhoneDog, see what it looks like. The keyboard is great to use, even though it's small. The buttons have good action, and they're nicely domed here, so that even though I have the tendency to kind of want to poke at them with my thumbnails, when I just trust it, I can really, even with my big thumbs, I can really hit the button I'm meaning to press, almost all the time. The space bar is nice and wide. They really did a nice job on this keyboard, making it very comfortable to use in such a small amount of space. So here's the PhoneDog site, rendering over the 3G connection, and it's full HTML. It looks like the website that you would see on a desktop browser. You've got the mini map up there in the corner, which is a nice little navigational tool that a lot of other browsers have now sort of picked up from the S60 browser. Was definitely one of the first ones to do it. Oh, look at that. PhoneDog TV is now on iTunes. You can subscribe. There's my funny looking head, and you can get all the PhoneDog videos on. Maybe you're watching it now via iTunes, but you can go over to iTunes. If you use iTunes and subscribe that way, you can also go over to blip.tv and subscribe. A few other methods there, so you can just get all the new videos delivered to you via RSS subscription, which is kind of handy. Or of course you can watch on YouTube or the PhoneDog site. Anyway, so we're looking at the browser there. Now, if we go to settings, I'll show you access point. So you have to define the access point on the Series 60 platform. And so I have it user defined right now. If you switch to, so it's always going to connect via the one I defined, which is the AT&T internet connection. If I want to use the built-in Wi-Fi also, I can set it up so that it will always ask me, or there's actually a program called Smart Connect that will let you set up groups of connection points so that it'll try them in order. It'll look for Wi-Fi first, and then it'll go down to AT&T 3G, or whatever you have, 3G or Edge, or whatever service you're using. And so you can do the same thing that you do like on an iPhone, where you just leave Wi-Fi on and it'll automatically look for Wi-Fi and tell you what networks are available. But it's just a little clunkier on the S60. It requires either going through the built-in interface, which is a little bit clunky like this, and search for WLAN. Like, a lot of people, especially watching this video, will know what that means. It's not that hard to learn that WLAN means wireless local area network, but people are used to Wi-Fi. They're used to the word Wi-Fi, or at least in the US, people are used to that. And so on something like the iPhone, again, when it just automatically tells you, hey, there's some open Wi-Fi networks, what do you want to connect to? Again, it's not so much comparing this to the iPhone, although I guess I'm doing that a lot. I just mean to say, just to point out that with the Nokia, with the S60 platform, there's a little more geeking out that goes with it than on some of your more kind of slicked up consumer-friendly devices. So I'll search for a network here, and there are networks that show up, and I'll connect, and it'll ask me for, pre-shared key instead of entered password. Just those kinds of things, which aren't that big of a deal, but or I should say, aren't that big of a deal in terms of technology, and you can learn to use them. But in terms of the average consumer picking up a device and being drawn to using it right away, definitely Nokia could stand to do a little more work on that end with the S60 interface.